My son, my goodness, was gripping that railing like his life depended on it. And I saw myself completely in the same fear of getting it wrong, right? Getting things wrong, in the same need to hold on tight before trusting the glide. But let me back up because we nearly didn't make it there at all in the initial stage. And the day ended up teaching me like something, like everything, some beautiful. I actually turned down a paid job. They wanted to even pay me, like they requested for me, right? For the day to do this thing. Like I did, just had like a, oh, can you do this? I'm like, and I'll do it again. I'll cancel it because of the experience. Because actually, I was gifted these tickets. This is the first time we're actually going ice skating. We're gifted, kind of like perks of the job. I got this, a rare window, you know, to do this before school starts next week. So we like we've got to like make this work and figure it out. Hi, I am Nene, and I help people become the person their goal requires them to be. And everything that I share here, I have lived first, and then we get to talk about it. Ah, there is a bus strike that's going on here in UK, London. And look, whatever reason, I don't even want to go into it. Like, if this is the way they need to like get their things answered, fine. But we set out, we gave ourselves enough time, plenty of time, thinking, yes, we've covered the grounds, we make sure we get there. Got on the bus. On the way, almost like 5 stops to go, the bus termination announcement came in. Oh my goodness. And then came the next announcement. The next one's not to be 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm looking at, there's like scrambling and coming off the bus, and like the bus was packed because it was like there was no, and we're like sitting on the back and like finally got off the bus and looking at the time we have to get ourselves prepped and ready before we now get on the ice. If not, we're eating into the ice time. We had 15 minutes, and this bus is not going to come into like 15 minutes time. And then we're like checking out, and now we're now in like the main center, right? So I just decided, you know what? The plan was to go there and then afterwards go and treat ourselves. Like, you know what? We'll treat ourselves now since we're here in this kind of like the Molly, the center before we now go out. So we treat ourselves and then we will now go and do the thing. So we went like, okay, I went to go and get something. Um, a few things I wanted to get because I was like, went to get stuff. And in that getting, I either think like sorting things out. Like we're already frustrated, right? Because to get, even though we gave ourselves enough time to go out, even in the going out, they weren't ready. So it was just fussed everything, put stuff away. I went to the changing room to go grab something that I needed. Then from there we went to like go and grab the food while waiting to pick up our order. And now we're getting crunch time. Like, okay, let's have this thing down because we have a 2 hours window before the next one. And then we have to like go in and make sure and all those things. I know, like, they're waiting for the meal and thinking, okay, we're gonna have to like shove this food down ourselves because this thing is time crunch, right? With the bus strike and everything that's going on. As we're waiting to pick up the food, a what do they call them? Those delivery guys coming to pick up and then go and deliver to someone's stuff was there waiting for 2 orders. So he had one, and the other one was there sitting down on the, I don't know, the seven, whatever they call that thing. I was like, is that not like my second one and stuff like that? I guess he wanted to like shoot. God knows, was he was like, And the lady now came on like, shut up. Like, you don't talk to me. Like, I'm doing a thing. Can't you like, oh my gosh. In my head, like speaking so rudely to this person who's the delivery person, all he said is that my order? I'm like, can I have my order so I can go? And then she just went off on one. And then the guy just didn't know, picked out his phone and started recording her, like because she was rude to him, like he was recorded. And she's like, why are you recording me? She went and called somebody else. And the guy's like, you're not allowed to. So that was now intimidating with his eyes popping out, like, you're not allowed to record. Da, 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 da. And it's like, I want to speak to the manager. And so now he's now thinking, oh, am I in trouble now? Like, um, you could just see the fear in him. I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm done. So they went to go get manager, and you can see him like, okay, I think I've taken this thing too far, or oh, I'm not supposed to be recording, or whatever that is. I put my 2 cents in there and like, look, your staff was being rude to him first though. Like all he asked was, is that my order? And she just went snapped. Da, 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 da. So the guy, as like I was holding my thing, he could see my number. It's like, oh, okay, here, let me get your order for you. The guy had walked off. I think he just had enough and just cancelled. I don't know if it was a fear of he's not going to be in trouble or fear like, I'm done. I don't need to do this. He walked off and then they gave us our food. Sat down in our commotion. Now we have barely what 15 minutes or so to eat this thing. So I'm like, I wanted to like just there's a last main activity before we go back to school. I would normally just get them like a small thing, like yeah, just like a feast. So we're like shoveling the thing down in the commotion. We now went to the next stop. So finally like made it on time to to go to the bus stop to the next stop. So to now catch the bus that would now take us in. And we're saying, okay, we now realize that our bus that would have taken, and Anne is the only bus that would take us to the location that we need to get to, stops at the where we terminated. It doesn't go any further. Because of the strike, it stops there. I was like, okay. And this is a hilly place. If you ever know, like, it's the ice ring at Alexandra Palace. Ali Pali, as we like to call it down this way, the one bus wasn't running. So I had to take a different bus that would now take us. So we had about 6 stops, and it's not 6 stops that like, oh, I can just walk it. Like we're talking, probably take us 40 minutes from where we are to get to that place. So we now got another bus that would take us another 4 stops to the place, like closer, and then we'll walk to the place. We go on the bus. My boys tapped. My turn. Where is my pass? I have a particular place I put my travel pass. Check there. I remember asking my son to put because I had stuff in my hand, put my stuff in my backpack. And so I'm there shoving, like I told the driver, 1 minute, shoveling, shoveling, shoveling. Got into the next stop, and I said the next bus stop is not whatever. And like, I'm just there looking and looking, I'm looking like, where is this thing? Couldn't find my pass. So the next one was ours anyway. So I got off and then I'm like, look, misters, we're going to have to walk this lane. It's saying that the walk is another 16 minutes walk. We're going uphill. And here we go. And now we're now flustered. Not only are we like, because of the treats, they're filled up and they're about to go do all these different moves. And it's like, okay, we are climbing this hill. So we're going uphill. We're there going, 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 and it's like, is this? It felt never ending, but I knew where, like, because I've gone past that route so many times. I knew where it was, so I finally found someone and said, because I've never like walked up the place. I've always gone on a bus or driven, like. So I asked one of the maintenance people was driving through. I was like, look, is this the way to like? He said you can either go there in my head, what's the beeline? I don't want anything that will give me extra walking I just want to go like straight point, not A, B, C, or the A, like whatever. I want to like, ugh. It's like, yeah, you can go this way or you can go that way. And I just realized that is just extra leg. That's extra. We're here. Time is ticking. We're almost like it's almost time for this thing to start. I'm like, no, we're going through this way. So we're beelining it, cut across the grasses, the field, saw some people sunbathing, enjoying the sun. The view was beautiful. Like when you look down and then we just kept going. Finally got there, got to the entrance, gave our ticket, and then we then gave us some tokens to go and get the boots they're going to wear. And then they gave me the wristband to say, okay, I'm just accompanying them because I'm like, oh no. So we went in. In the going in, you open the doors, you get that whoop of cold air. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's ice skating. We're going into the cold. Oh, technically. I was like, and I'm going to be here for the next what, hour and a half. So before then, I'd already like checked with like the timing chat GPT, chatty as I like to call it him, her, them, whatever your preference. But for me, it's a said, okay, these are the time slot. And it said they're always an hour and a half, and there's like a half an hour in between and stuff like that. So because we had missed the 1:30 slot, we are going for the 3 o'clock slots. And then we did all those like me going to pick up stuff and for a thing that I needed and the food. We did that in that time. So when we now got to the place, gave the token. So we'll give your shoes and then they'll give you give your size, they'll give you your boots. And then we got all that, tied up the shoes, now went to the ring area before the time starts. And then I saw a previous neighbor. I was like, oh hi. I was like, I saw that face. I'm like, I've seen. And then when we came back down, she's like, hello, how you guys doing? And we just got chatting. She's like, yeah, she's going for the ring. I'm like, oh yeah, I need somebody that could like look up for my kids, right? Or whatever. But she was doing her own thing. But that's fine. She just said, just like, take it easy. Okay, it was now time to go in. And they went in to the ice. And you could just see, I'm like, oh my gosh, are we gonna end up in A&E today? Literally like holding on, like it was just the oddness. And I'm there thinking, why didn't we like I always like to prep or know exactly what I'm getting into. Would have at least watched some videos of people basic skills of ice skating because they have done roller skating plenty times. I mean, they haven't done it recently. Actually, my son, he he for their end of year celebration, whatever, they went on ice skating thing. Not ice skating, excuse me, rollerblading, roller skating, excuse me, not blading, roller skating. And so he kind of like had an like a clue on it. And then so now they're going in and I'm watching my two boys have completely different experience. They both started off gripping, like on themselves. And because the other one just did that a couple of weeks before, and even though they have roller skated many times before, it wasn't during the summer holiday or it's been a couple of months. Whereas the other one has just been a couple of weeks. They got in and it was literally like, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this chin, is this nose gonna land on the floor, on the ice? And it's like proper why didn't I why didn't we watch something? Normally I would like prep myself, at least have an idea, or even ask Chatty, like, give me some pointers. And then when I even okay, now I'm like, okay, let me ask. The network wasn't working, my data wasn't working, the Wi-Fi of the place wasn't working, so I couldn't even say, here is what we need to do. The lady kind of like gave us some tips, and then she went. So I was just watching them like around the perimeter, like going around like that, coming and going, coming. I'm thinking, is this what we're gonna do for the next hour and a half? Like, oh my gosh. And then she came around and said, look, the boots are not tied up. They're not gripped up at the ankle properly. So we came back out, tied up the least so that the knee doesn't give way. And I guess it's just a protected thing. So I tightened it properly again for them. They went in. And then now, like, I'm seeing now they're both watching other people. I said, see what other people are doing. Like, just act as if it's a roller skate. You're using your like that's how you would normally do that. Now it's just a thin slice. You do use that kind of like technique. It's kind of like I was telling them, and now one is now completely overthinking it. Completely like how like what like look. These people, most of them, you can see the ones who are new to this as well. They've probably been doing this from when they were popped out from as babies. Like they've got the skills. Some of them are actually wearing their own boots to tell you that this is not their first rodeo. They've been doing it, so you can't just now start saying, "Ooh." So he was now becoming self-conscious, and I'm comparing like, "Oh my gosh, look at that." Whereas the other one is just looking at people's feet, like, "Okay, all right, let me try this," and it's holding on, like, "Okay, let's go, let's." So they did a couple of laps with that. I'm like, let's go and get this what do I call them? I called it penguin. Then I then realized, so when I went to go and pay for it, it was the penguin was actually for like smaller kids. So because she saw us coming, she's like, "You mean a snowman?" I'm like, What's the difference?" Like the snowman's like the bigger one, and it's penguin. I'm like, I didn't even know there was like a difference in height. Students now I'm like, okay, oh yeah, no, yeah, snowman, please, snowman. Ah, um, it was just so I went and got it, and I'm like, look, I was contemplating getting two. I'm like, no, because if I get two, they'll just depend on this snowman for the whole duration, and there'll be no. I'm like, we'll take it in turns, because I was thinking with a snowman, you just glide, right? You just put the thing, and it'll be easy. And so I brought down, so went and paid for it, paid, then came to the corner that dispenses it, got that, brought it down when it finally came to me and like, look here so now it's like who's gonna have a turn first. So because the other one kind of like okay, let him have a go because you kind of like slightly confident. I wanted the one who was more confident to go for it, but it's like, you know what, let the other brother go. So he's now holding it. I'm like, I'm supposed to like like put pressure on her, put the thing. Still overthinking. Now, this other one, I guess he now had someone who was beeline and just following and mentoring and just behind and just seeing how that person is just a couple of like, the person has he's not like flying, but he's there, but he's just watching and then he's going. And then he got to a point where he now caught up with people who were also doing the railing things. And he just kind of like, no, this is taking too long. I'm gonna try and go past them. There were like two of them. And he did it. And I was like, yay! Like, kudos, mate. And he went on and he started like just because he was able to just go past two people on the holding. I guess that like, you've done it now. It's like, oh, I can do this. So now he's now able to start giving way. And so when he now finally came around, like now try without touching again. Just do it. So he was like slowly doing a thing. And then my other kid who's got the snowman now is like pushing the thing. I'm like, baby, push, because I felt like now the thing is slowing him down. And because the snowman, the height is so lowered, um, I don't know, it didn't feel, what's the word? It felt like a hindrance. It was like slowing him down. And I was like, glide then. But if anything, at least there was now motion going, now motion. And it was still kind of like, how are they doing this thing? Like, I don't like, baby, it is not how they're doing it. It's like, look at what can you get from them. So the other one went round without he touched twice and he came back and said, oh, I saw twice. Like, yay. My thing's all about celebration because we're anchoring in. And he's like, okay, try again, do again. Now go. Now he's edging out from like, and like just inside the security blanket of the ring, let's move on. And then while before they actually did that, after the lady had said like tie up, he was like, okay, now that they're doing great. And I'm like, just keep watching. Whereas mother was like, well, how I'm gliding, but when I so then he after a while he said, okay, let me try without the snowman. And I asked the other one, do you want to? It's like, no, I'm good. Okay. So he's now trying without, but he's gliding, and when he stopped, he's like doing a 360. I was like, I don't know how like, and then he's asking the brother like, okay, how you doing it? What like I didn't even know that was what's going on. Afterwards, when we were like debriefing and all that thing, so we got going and going. And it was almost like So I'm like, okay, how are you guys feeling? Are you tired? No, they're going. I'm going, and I'm thinking, okay, I think we're good. We're not. The A&E department is not going to see us today. No, because now they've got the hang of it, and it was fine. I actually saw one kid fall down on his head. Whoosh! I'm like, oh, okay. My kids didn't see that. Thank goodness. But they got up and they found like should check the head, but I don't think it was a hit like a strong bang, but the head made contact because they slided and she's fine. I was like, okay, I guess we need to talk about how to brace yourself or like if you fall. Next conversation, I'm like, no, let me not plant that seed in them before it becomes something else. So I didn't tell them that conversation. So that went on and they're like, how we doing? Great. Okay, put it on this. Um and with the other one, I guess the muscle memory of just being on the roller skates a couple of weeks ago was just there and he was just like moving and it was fine. And that was like rolling on. And I'm like, okay, how we doing? And then now, because it's a break, there was so many kids and I didn't want a situation where we would dare because knowing the situation about how we're going to get home scenario, and I've now misplaced my pass because now while they were doing their thing and I felt they were comfortable, I took my time to go through my bag and my pass wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, I guess I've lost it in the process of all this fluffing and fluffing and whatever. And the old me would have been, Nene, come on, you should have like organized yourself and told them to put it in the proper place. Da, da, da. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's a pass. We move. We keep going. And the intention now was like, I can go back since we can walk back and to the same place and see if my pass was handed in. If anyone handed in my thing, we check anyway, right? So we carried on. I checked the thing, it wasn't there. They were still going. And now the other one was now more like you could literally see the progression once the overthinking started like was slowing down. Once you started like seeing his brother now kind of like basically gliding, like doing the moves and like he would if this was a ring, like what people are holding on to, like the started off like this, went, and now he actually got up this far away. So he's not reliant on that. And the brother's like, how is he doing? Just keeping asking how, instead of like really, because they're in the ring, like, and only when they come past me, then we just have like a quick chat, and then we'll carry on. He was able to then say, okay, let me, okay, I don't want a snowman anymore. Let me try myself. And he started, and he was okay. He was just going. You could just see that overthinking going. Yes, he was still doing a 360 at some point, whatever, but he was fine. And then the laughs were going in, and like they were enjoying us. Like, how are we doing? Are we good? Yeah, we're going for it. We're fine. Like, let's go. And then the lady came back and was like, "Oh, they're not doing bad." And she got talking about how they do have lessons and how they do have like a class where they have a lessons and then coffee afterwards. It's called skates and coffee or something like that. They'll teach you a half an hour and then you practice for 2 hours. And then some people then stay on to have coffee together and just chit chat. And so she does that, and there are lessons, or you could have private lessons, like how expensive. And as we were like, I'm like, oh, maybe I could like, this could be something that I could, just try something different because I can see how, you can see some people just doing their moves. You can see people who are like, like how, like, I can imagine all the muscle and concentration that is needed. Maybe it could be a thing. It could be Nene learning how to skate and then going in to do that. Like, yeah, okay, I'll look into that. We got talking, and then next thing, another parent came in and just like, okay, got their kids in a skate, and then had two other kids like, where are the instructors to help? And the guy was like, one of the people who were like, no, they just do themselves. Like, oh, how we like nobody gonna teach them how to? It's like, no, this is just the ice skate ring. They have lessons for that. This is just come and just use the ring. And the guy's like, how? Because I mean, if he has roller skated, no roller, yeah, skated, they do have people who would actually would tell you, give you some moves, and people who would like. Whereas in the ice rink, nada, there was no one there. So when each time they've gone to the roller skating thing, they're always like the what do they call them? I don't know the word to call those people, but they would just give you some pointers, some ideas on how to just do the thing, and then you're off to so. But it's not the same on the ice rink. Ice rink, no, you sort yourself out. So he's there now, like nah, and they left. It was just the funniest thing to see. Like because yeah, like I said, in hindsight, I would have like prepped myself, do the watching, do the adjusting, like just mentally got them prepared to know what they're embarking on. So I'm like, okay, next time we're going to do something new, we're definitely doing that. We're definitely doing that. And in overall, as you can see, as time went on in the hour, like as time was going on, all the laps they were doing, they were getting better and better and better. He was edging inner to the circle, inner to the circle, and like he was even doing the hands, like going. I'm like, hey, look at my baby, like hey, first try, and he was just like, I was so proud. I was like, yes, we got some. I got some, captured some clips of them doing their thing, their magic, and I was just proper impressed by the whole thing, like how they're able to just do that. The first glide to the point where there is no touching. Even the other one who felt like was overthinking ended up having a couple of laps where he didn't have to rely on the thing. So again, to my like, look, it's all a mind game, right? To me, it's all a mind game. Seriously, when you go in there, like, oh my gosh, because I even remember there was a lady who said, I've not done this since I was a little child or whatever." He's like, "Oh my god," and then she went and like her partner went and got her like a snow thing. And before you know it, I guess the muscle memory came back and then she didn't need it anymore. It was so funny. In the beginning, there was a lot of penguins, a lot of snowman with people having, towards the end of it, they were all kind of like shoved to the corner and people were just kind of like fine on their own. It was the funniest thing. So now, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to meet this mad rush. Let's just leave before the thing starts and then we'll go. So we went in there, we got changed, like get back their shoes and everything. And when we were leaving, like, why are people still skating? It's 5 o'clock. They're supposed to like give the announcement and then everyone out. So why are they still on there? So when we went out to the thing and spoke to the lady, like, the people still skating. What's going on? She's like, oh, today we're finishing at 5:30. And then one kid was like, oh, let's go back, let's go back. The other one's like, oh, man, you know what? I'm done. Like, whatever. Because look, we already like we had like 25 minutes. By the time we go back and get the shoes, she was willing to give us the tokens to go back and get the shoes, tie up. It'll probably be like 5, 10 minutes, and then we have to be out again. And then, like, okay, next time. Again, note to self: double check start time, finish time. What's the thing before we go in there, so that we are utilizing the whole thing. And yeah, to make sure everything's fine. That happened. We left knowing that there was not going to be any buses, and the buses would start from where we joined or from there. We didn't want to go back that way to go out. So we were able to find a cot in through where the station would be. Fortunately, we didn't have to tap in, we just had to walk through and then go through the back entrance to go back to the store I went to. Ask them, did my thing, anybody handed anything? No. Went to the place where we went to eat and asked, did anyone hand in it? So they asked me to ask the guy. I'm like, I don't recognize this guy while we're there. I'm like, so he said, no, nobody handed anything. I'm like, when did you start? He said, oh, I started at 4. I'm like, oh, wait, we're here like 1:30. Like, this is not you. So I went back to the people and I realized, like, oh my gosh, I butted in into what, would they like take that against me? And then he came back and said, no, there's no pass. I'm just like, okay, that's fine. The pass is gone. Luckily for me, there's a weekly pass, and it actually ended yesterday, the day I used it. I ended that day, so it was alright. Um, and then we just kind of like so we now walked up to the place where we know we will get a bus, and luckily for us, And I like, you know what? It's been such so on a walk down. We That's when I started talking. I started realizing like he was just going on like, I don't know how, I don't know how. I'm like, yeah, but it's not about the how. It's about being okay to be messy, to be seen as like a newbie, not like thinking that people have to see you like, oh, I know how to glide. Those are conversations we should have had before we went in. But we had it on the way back until we're walking down to go and look for the if my pass was found or not. And it's like you can see how like he kept asking me, I don't know how he was doing it. I'm like, did you ask him? Like, how did you do it then? Because I was always getting a 360 and like, okay, you see, you were doing this or whatever that, and then you were now making you naturally go round yourself. All he had to do is instead of saying, how are you doing it? This is what I am doing. This is how what's going on. And I'm trying it. And I could say, oh, actually, when this is what I do. And then I put my leg this way and I straighten it out. But instead of like just like, wow, how you don't need to know the how. You just need to know what the next step. Like this is my situation and how. Like this is the step I'm taking. Than thinking, how you doing it? Da, da, da. And I reminded him, remember, this guy went a couple of weeks roller skating. I know you've done more roller skating than he has, and you've done the practice and lessons or whatever. But still, you have to free yourself. If you're worried that, oh my gosh, I'm going to like, I don't know what I'm doing, I can't, whatever, it will reflect. Whereas your other brother's like, okay. And like I asked him, what were you thinking? How were you feeling? I mean, I was just like, let's see how it goes. I'm just seeing, okay, what are people doing and I'm doing. Whereas the other one's overthinking, like, oh, uh, I, I just don't want anyone seeing him messing up. You don't want to see anybody, whatever. You could just literally, like, worried. I'm like, baby, calm down. Like, I know I don't like being fit for the time and calm down either. But it's just, if we ask ourselves the right questions, we will get a different response. When he kept coming in and saying, look, just it's okay if you slide, it's fine. You keep going. It's okay. These people have been doing more. So the more every time we go past and I drop some one motivational line there for him or pep talk, you could just see, okay, we're getting better. We're doing whatever this, okay. And every time he's like he goes along through that and he looks my way, he's like, yeah, like celebrating, because I'm trying to anchor in them. They're getting there. Certain things is automatic. They celebrate and like, yeah, you know, good job, good job. And so in that conversation, we got talking, and then he had that realization, like, yes, there was some overthinking. There was kind of like, I didn't want to mess up. I'm like, but it's okay because this is your first time, so you have to give yourself grace. You guys actually did great. Some people go on the ice and they fall like like multiple times. Did you guys fall? No. So that's what celebrating. You guys, yes, there was that, but you caught yourself and you like able to realign. You didn't fall. For the first time, you guys did not fall. So we are celebrating that. We are like, that's huge. What do we get? What do we get to do next time? Then we now said, like, before we then realized that actually the socks they wore was wrong. They would have worn like a more longer and thicker socks or gotten like a special socks. Like, we're seeing all those different things. We didn't know. So next time we're trying something new, we'll make sure we see how other people have done it, like what's to expect and what's whatever before we go in there. So we don't go in blindly and then start going, oh, because honestly, we did go in blindly in this one. But having that conversation and understanding the realization that, look, and that's all it is. Seeing that and he saw for himself when he let that overthinking start dissipating, he was free to just go. The muscle from the skating, the roller skating that he was doing before was now showing. And there's now kind of like, okay, you could just see literally the face go from to like, and the same is true for us. In whatever it is that we're doing, we tend to like just like overthink sometimes. Like how did I do it? How like I didn't that was it like this? Instead of just like taking a moment and just celebrate my goodness. I went round. I went out without touching twice. Like I'm getting better. Like this, okay. Look at how they do it. Okay, let me try that. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, I'm too much advanced for that. Okay, let me slow down a bit. Let me try this. Let me do that. That's how you should roll, right? So that just realized that that is just how life is. You can't just assume. You can't. You just have to just let it be one step at a time. Run your own race than comparing your day one to someone else's day 365. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was it was interesting. It was like we now got away treating them because of how much effort they did. Like, you know what? Look, let's get some ice creams. Get you guys ice creams for on the way home. Got the ice creams. We now left. Um yeah. And like we now got the like understanding like when you can't ask someone for help for them to assume they know like where you are without actually knowing what is the thing, where are you, where in the process, then answer how you doing it, like no, where are you, and then the person can tell you and support you, then just say oh help me and whatever, like help you how, what, in what particular way is the help needed. Oh, I'm gliding and I'm going to 360. What do I see? That's the specificity. And I'm just saying, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know, like, but you have to, the learning I'm learning is like, you don't just say, I need help or whatever. I need help with what? With how? In what process? In what situation? Like, helping him understand and like also shining a light that we have to be specific in our acts in whatever it is we're deciding. Oh, it's like someone saying, "Oh, I want to make more money. I want to make more money." It's like, "Oh, yeah, here's a pound." You've made more money. You've made a pound more, but you were not specific how much more you want to make. You're not like clear in the situation you're wanting. So having to understand how we do that, what is the thing? So yeah, that's kind of like how we did the whole thing and how we missed my past, getting a new one. Like it's okay. So yeah, and honestly, the day I would choose that day over again without like just being there present, having that interaction and having the discussion with the bus strike. Imagine if the buses were running, we'll probably be sitting in different places and we'll not have that long walk back to the next stop to have this conversation. And so yeah, I'm actually grateful for how the day turned out, the strike and all and the whole thing. And so yeah, have you ever tried something new? I mean, or it like resonated you in any way in terms of like how we're not specific in what in our accent, or you're trying something and you don't know and you've wish you did real research or whatever that is, like let's carry on a conversation in the comment section because it was a very fascinating. I'm glad that we got to experience that. I am Nene and I do this every single day. Remember that your voice matters and it is your time to use it. Bye for now.